The medium finally got an SMG after all this time. Took 8 seasons. Welcome, the P90. A submachine gun with a high capacity magazine and a rapid fire rate. So I'll break down some of the stats for you. Starting off, 50 round mag. Holy moly, that's a lot of bullets. Also, minimum range, it's got a drop off of 10 meters. So essentially, the damage fall off is quite crazy with this. So you're going to have to get really up close in people's face. I would recommend a lot more hip firing. People are out your range a bit, then obviously ADS. I've seen a lot of people on Reddit saying it's absolutely broken. And I've seen a lot of people just say, just leave it. So we're going to be talking about it a bit. Talking about the actual gun itself. What's good about it, what's not good about it. And kind of make a discussion on if the P90 needs changing in some type of way. My opinion straight off the bat, I don't really think so. But we'll discuss why people feel like it might need a nerf. I think it's best to start with the TTK. So for light, it's 8 shots to the head and 11 shots to the body. So that's 0.46 to the head and 0.66 to the body in terms of time to kill. Now that's quite insane, but if you look at every other AR, technically they actually have a higher TTK. It's kind of like the illusion of having a faster fire rate that I think might make you feel like you're getting zapped so much quicker, but you're not really. But the fire rate and the high magazine does make it a lot more forgiving, so I can understand why light might be a bit like, what just happened to me, bro? And with mediums, it's not that much further off. It's 12 shots to the head and 18 shots to the body, 0.73 seconds and 1.13 seconds TTK. So with mediums, absolute melt machine. I realize one of the benefits of the P90 is with the high magazine, your spray transfer can be so good because you're able to wipe out multiple people, especially if they're weak. So I reckon it's a very good team play gun. If your teams call out people are weak and stuff, you can really capitalize on that. So in my opinion, I don't think the P90 is just an absolute one-man sprayer. I do feel like team coordination makes it very strong. Now the heavy's TTK is 17 bullets to the head to 1.06 seconds, or 25 bullets to the body, 1.6 seconds. So essentially, you could kill 2 heavies in one clip, just body shots, which does sound pretty insane. But even heavies have pretty decent movement, especially if they're on a higher skill level anyway, and especially with dome shields and all the gadgets they're going to be using regardless. So it's going to be pretty hard to knock out 2 heavies. If I could see a clip of it, I'd give you a handshake. Make sure to check me out on Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok. I do streams 3 to 4 days a week. Just thought I'd throw that out there. All this footage you see right now is actually live. So yeah, pretty cool. Now, some of the drawbacks from the P90, since it's an absolute melt machine up close, you can kind of put yourself in unfavorable situations, like you can see right here where there's multiple teams fighting. And since I want to kill people quick, you might put yourself in bad positions and kind of mess your teammates up a bit. So even though the P90 is a melt machine from close, just have a little think before jumping into every fight. You want to close the distance, but just double check with yourself. Is there too many to shoot at? If there's too many to shoot at, probably dip out. Also, drawback of the P90 is open spaces, especially heavies. You know, heavies take the longest to kill. This type of situation, you better just repositioning. I tried to, but the guy chased me, obviously, and then I done the dumbest thing by jumping in the air and making more distance. Made no sense. But try not to do that with the P90. Always make sure you're never the person out in the open, especially with that type of gun. Now, benefits of the P90 is obviously movement speed. Very versatile gun to be able to keep moving around the environment. And hopefully you might not die to that light you always die to. Now, one of the biggest benefits has to be its headshot multiplier. Add that into its higher, faster fire rate. Higher, faster fire rate. Yeah, we'll go with that. Now, let's talk about the P90 and how it's nice to have some changes for the medium. Now, we all know Healing Beam got a buff again, so now it's back to a place where it actually feels a bit more viable. And with DMAC getting nerfed a little bit, I feel it's really good that they brought out an SMG. It really just changes the pace a little bit. Just gives you a bit more breathing room to experiment a little bit. Now, is the P90 all around the best gun in the game right now over the FAMAS or, say, the Repeater that's coming back now because of its base damage getting, like, higher up? No. I feel like in team comps, P90 is really good, but as long as, like, you're essentially finishing off kills for your teammates. But most of the time with high skilled players, the chance of you being able to 1v1 an enemy is probably quite low, because once you get to a higher skill level, it's team comps, not really how good an individual is, overall how a team coordinate with each other. So I do feel like the P90 is probably not going to be the top of the list for, like, higher skilled players. And with most of the fights in the final, especially at higher levels, typically start mainly long range. We're still in quite a long-range meta. LH1 recently got buffed with the light. That's also made light a bit more viable long range. Even though the pike got nerfed, the repeater can also obviously have a better scope and stuff like that. So essentially with the P90 coming out, you got two main choices. Do you want a weapon that has more damage, a bit more harder to control recoil with a slower fire rate like the FAMAS, but you're able to do so much more damage from long distance? Or use the P90 with way more ammo in it, a lot easier to control recoil, but you're basically sacrificing damage drop-off. So essentially, you're going to have to get really good at positioning and also advancing forward without the enemies knowing you're there, which can be quite hard sometimes, especially when enemies are really good at audio cues, because it's one of the biggest advantages when you're playing the finals, knowing like if someone's close to you, behind a corner, underneath, above, and stuff like that. The setup I've been liking with the P90 has definitely been the high mobility one, launch pad with dematerializer just to close that distance quick, with the jump pad obviously, and the dematerializer go through walls, etc. Also been using the data reshaper, because since I've been using the P90, I feel like since I get quite up close, I start using the data reshaper to get out the turrets and mines for my teammates and all that. But since the healing beam did get buffed, I've seen a lot of people on Reddit have been saying that it's really good, but I would recommend high mobility setup with a P90. But you can try whatever you want. I just seen a lot of success with this. Now let's talk about some of the people that say it needs a nerf. I feel like it's one of those guns that it's so new, and you die to it, you just think it's broken. And that's not everyone that thinks that dies to it. A lot of people die to it and they go, fair enough, you know? And people are still trying out different strategies with the P90. It's still very new. I feel it's in a good spot. It's an SMG. It does the job of an SMG. I don't think it needs nerfing in my opinion. But let me know down in the comments your thoughts about the P90. So now, do I think it's meta? I don't think it's meta right now, but I do feel like it is better at a mobility playstyle than the other guns. Now, obviously you can rock FAMAS, FCAR, AKM, any other gun in high mobility like setup, but I feel like it just works so much better with the P90. So is it the meta? No. Does it change the meta? I do think it, because you got to think about it from different points of view. You say change the meta, does it mean that it is the meta? No, it just means that people have more options to change up and utilize something that, in my opinion, seems to work better in a mobility setup. I just think the P90 works better with certain setups than other guns. So you now have the option of having an SMG in high mobility rather than being stuck with an AR, shotgun, etc., you know? Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me, especially if you get to this part of the video. You can leave me a like, comment, or make sure to subscribe. Maybe send this to a friend or something like that. I'd absolutely appreciate it. If you want to learn more stuff about the data reshaper, click the video on my left, and then what other video should I say? If you want to watch some of my live streams, they're up on the right. I'll be streaming every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So stop on by. Also, my Discord will be in the description. Catch you in a bit.